with Bishop Dale C. Bronner.
And I know every time that I come into the house of God, I recognize that old demon spirit that has told people to kill yourself. Kill yourself is not worth it. You're dealing with too much stress right now. There's too much frustration. Nothing is working for you. You're dumb. You're ignorant. You're rejected. Nobody wants to be with you. Everything that you put your hands to messes up. Has anybody ever had that same demonic spirit talking to them, telling them, throw yourself down, cast yourself, go ahead and end it all. You've had enough pressure. Aren't you tired now? Aren't you don't ever have enough money. You keep messing up relationships. Everything that you come into a situation that files up on you. Have you ever had him to say, you don't fit in, something is wrong with you? It'll be easier for you to just throw yourself down from this place. I understand that voice because I've heard it. And it causes righteous indignation to rise in me now, because I know that same murdering, deceptive voice to try to get people to kill their purpose, to sabotage their destiny. I understand that voice coming saying, throw yourself down from here. You've gone through enough, now throw yourself down. God's got you. Come on, go on and end it all and go to the light. You deceptive demon spirit. We ought to take authority over that thing, over our sons and our daughters and our grandchildren, trying to make them kill themselves because they are frustrated and confused and mixed up and don't understand something, and they are suicidal, and you don't even realize what's going on. And let me just tell you, I understand so much of the nature of this spirit, because I never told anybody about that when I was going through that experience. And it wasn't because I had a bad home. I had a wonderful home, loving mother and father, wonderful family. It had nothing to do with that. The temptations of the devil are irrational. All sin is a form of insanity. I had a happy home. It wasn't that I was miserable. It was that the devil was miserable. He never fights your past. He always fights your future. He was trying to get me to disconnect early before I ever got started, because he knew where I was going. And so he was trying to disconnect something. And I'm so glad that the same God that called me, redeemed me from that voice. There are little girls who in their silence is their greatest scream for help. You may not understand what I'm talking about, but I understand it down in my soul that when a woman is silent, it's her greatest scream for help. When she's offended to the degree that she won't even talk to you, her ignoring you is saying, I am so hurt. It is a scream through the silence. Silence is a language all by itself. And in the tacitness of the silence in which we walk, there come subtle whispers from Satan saying, throw yourself down. Because you became discouraged. Winners are those who take defeat and will never let it discourage them. And in the midst of the silence, the voice that you hear is so critical. But God's love ought to scream out to you. Sometimes the greatest thing that he could ever give you when you're going through that particular test in the wilderness experience and wonder, God, are you there? Can you hear me now? And in the silence of the test that I'm in, God, can you hear me now? But can your mind run back to when you were taking tests in school or taking the SAT or the ACT that the teacher didn't talk during the test? Are you aware that the master does not talk when the test is on? It's got to be in you at that time that you call on something that's on the inside, that God is with you. He's already given you his word. I will never leave you nor forsake you. But I'm with you now, even to the end of the world. This is the presumption test. And oftentimes when we're in the wilderness and we don't hear God's voice clearly because we're so battling anxiety and frustration. And to compensate how we feel, we begin to do things our own way and then try to make something happen for God. Abraham did that and made a mistake with Sarah, with Hagar, his handmaiden. And so we need to learn the difference between faith and presumption, because you're going to have a presumption test. The devil's going to try to make you do something real foolish in the name of God. Make you think that it's God and it's something stupid. Quit your job and then you don't have any place to go. And it was presumption. And then you get strung out there and then wonder, God, why did you let this happen to me? Psalm chapter 19 and verse 13 includes a prayer that asks God to keep us from presumptuous sins. Presumptuous sin. And presumptions is when we make our own plans and then after our plans are in motion, we ask God to bless them. That's presumption. We make our own plans, and after our plans are in motion, we ask God to bless us. And this comes from a root of pride and independence from God. And there are so many Christians that I know that have made important decisions without receiving proper counsel and without waiting upon the Lord to know His will. And so some folks have moved out of the state. They've left their jobs for other jobs. They've gotten married quickly without advice or marital counseling, done a whole lot of stupid stuff. And then when the church or when God does not bless their decision, they become angry. Angry with God, and then they backslide because of presumptuous sins. Proverbs chapter 19, verse 3, presumptuous sin. God keep us from presumptuous sin. And when we don't have prayer lives and read the Bible daily, we live in presumption because we live outside of His will. In presumption. Keep us, O Lord, from presumptuous sins. Here's temptation number 4, the final one. That if you will worship before me, all will be yours. If you will worship before me, all will be yours. Now here's what this test is all about. This is expecting purpose without process and pain test. This is expecting purpose without process and pain test. Have you ever found people that want the world and they don't want to go through anything to get it? Here the devil is trying to promise them the world. If people make it sound too easy, oh, you just signed up for $29.99 a month and you'll be making $10,000 a month and in just 2 hours of your spare time. Yeah, right. Satan offered Jesus all of the kingdoms of the world in an instant because he knew that Jesus' ultimate goal was that all of the kingdoms and all of the kings of the earth would come to him and bow down and worship. He knew that from Daniel chapter 7, verse 13 and 14. Jesus' temptation was that he would receive in an instant what would have taken more than 3 years and much pain to accomplish. That's the test here of expecting purpose without process and pain. There's certain things that you just don't get without process and pain. You've got to go through something. God never bypasses process or the pain that comes with the process, because what is done in us is more important than what is done through us. I know too many people that are praying the wrong prayer. They're saying, God, do something great through me. Ask God to do something great in me. Do it in me, God, and then do it through me. Do it in me, and then do it through me. Touch yourself. Say, God, do it in me, and then do it through me. Say it again. Do it in me, and then do it through me. Say it once again. Do it in me, and then do it through me. Don't ever want a shortcut because you miss becoming. You don't want to become it or do it before you become it. You want to become it, you must first be and then do and then have. You must become it. You become a winner on the inside. You become a winner on the inside. Everything is reflective. The inside is reflective of the outside. Your inside is like a thermostat, and if you got it set hot, it'll only be a matter of time before it gets hot on the outside. This is a mirror image reflection. Your outer world is a mirror image reflection of your inner world. When I set my internal thermostat on peace, peace is not the absence of trouble, peace is the presence of God. And I can set this on peace. I don't care if I'm in war. I don't care if there's a storm happening around me. This thing is set on peace. I can't tell you the number of times that I've been on an airplane, and then we'll suddenly hit an empty air pocket, and the plane will drop 30 feet in a moment, and everybody else's stomach is in their mouth, and I'm sitting there. I've come to the point where I feel like I'm on a roller coaster. I enjoy those flights more than the ones that run smoothly. I smile when that happens. I mean, trust me, really. I am so cool, calm, and collected when there's a sudden drop. And other people, I've had strangers to grip my arm and then apologize to me afterwards. They didn't even know. I mean, grown men, that have grabbed onto me. And I'm like, and I am as calm as a cucumber because I realize that there is peace on the inside of me. Peace is not something that I'm looking for, it's something that I've already got. I found him in a person. He's called the Prince of Peace. The Prince of Peace. But God he always surrounds power and purpose with problems and pain. I want to say that again. God always surrounds power and purpose with problems and pains, so that when we have power, we will not want the glory that comes with the power. Because there is a pain that goes with glory. There's pain, there's discomfort, there are problems that come along with glory. There is a weightiness, a pressure that comes along with glory. And when something becomes too easy, or if something seems too good to be true, then it probably isn't, or it isn't good for you. And most people want quick fixes and instant answers to our situations. And the problem with that, when you give a person something to solve their problem instantly, they don't become the answer. Take them through the process. Stop giving people the answer when they have a problem. Teach them how to solve it. Teach them how to solve for X. Don't just give them the answer and say, you know what, X equals 36. No. Take them through the problem and show them, listen, you're going to have some other X's in your life, and I don't want you running back to me every time you get an X. So you better sit little boo-boo down and say, boo-boo, you're going to have some X's in life. There are going to be some unknowns in your life. And if you're going to solve this unknown, can I take you to algebra class? I'm an algebra expert. I'm a trigonometry, freak. I love trigonometry. You know why? Because it's not a problem for me. You know why it's not a problem? Because I've got the key. If you got the key to know how to unlock it, if you got the formula that helps you to know what to do, I'm a master at taking word situation and putting them in a mathematical equation and solving for X. I just love it. When I see the words and verbiage, I immediately see an algebraic equation. And I can take those words in a moment of time and lay them out and solve for X. And the first thing that I know is I need to isolate my X. Get X on a side by itself. Isolate your problem. Listen, don't make your husband or your wife the issue. Don't make them the issue. Separate the personality from the problem. I know she got mouth, but let's separate what she said. Oh, wow. Good God Almighty. We might move out of trigonometry and get over some calculus now. But you need to know whether you're dealing with an associative problem or a commutative problem. You need to understand that if I have the keys and understand the workings of the formula, that what was a problem to me, if I've got the key, I know how to unlock this thing that was a problem. And once I have the tools for now solving for X, then X is no longer a problem. I just simply work it out. Touch your neighbor, say, work it out. When you get the keys, Jesus said, behold, I give you the keys of the kingdom. The keys. He wouldn't give you any keys unless something was going to be locked up in your life. Unless the doors were going to be closed. God says, I am giving you the keys. I'm going to give you some keys. I'm going to give you some keys to the kingdom. And so what he does is that he takes you through a process. And when somebody gives you the answer, that's a cheat sheet. And they don't help you to grow when they cheat, because the next time you have a problem, you got to cheat to solve that one. And I don't want to help you to cheat all the way through life. I cheat you if I give you the money. If I don't teach you how to deal with the problems of your life, my greatest gift to you. You might think I'm mean and stingy and parsimonious. You can think what you want, but you're going to learn how to solve this. Oh, you're going to learn how to solve it. You will learn how to solve this. Listen, mamas and daddies, don't let your children keep just wasting all of your money. They're not going to learn any sense until they struggle on their own. Until they have to pay some bills. They will leave your lights on and let your water drip. They will have the air conditioning on full blast in the summertime and the heat on full blast in the wintertime. And you'll be walking around in that house and turn that thing down. Turn it down, put on a sweater. But I want you to realize that quick fixes are like experiencing a sugar high. They stimulate us quickly for a short period of time, but afterward you become tired and then you need another sugar fix. And ultimately, sugar highs ruin us physically. They really do. And I want you to take heed to these four main tests that God will allow you to experience. He'll allow you to experience some tests. But after Jesus passed through these tests, he was ready to walk into his destiny and purpose, but not before. If somebody gives you something before you have matured, they have just done you an injustice. If they give you power and authority and wealth before you have a maturity to be able to handle it and understand it, they have not blessed you, they have cursed you. The good thing about it, when you go through these four tests, and you will have these tests, you're going to come through a position in your life where you're going to deal with an identity crisis and a performance test in your life. You're going to come through the pain test where you want to have all of these goods, and you want the results without going through the pain and through the process. And then you'll come to this situation of where you will experience so much in the economy of God, and when you're going through a test, you'll wonder, am I ever going to make it out of this test? And how am I supposed to make it out of the test when the teacher is silent? May I give you a hint? He's made it open book. He's saying, search my word. Find the truth, find the principle, stand on that word, pray the word, pray the solution. But after Jesus passed this test, he walked into the power of the Spirit. And I just want to encourage you to stick close enough to God through these challenging seasons so that you'll be able to pass through the wilderness and then come into your promised land in your life. He wants to bring you into a beautiful land of promise, the place where you enter into your ministry, but he had to get you ready. When you don't go through process, you get the big head. You become arrogant, and you begin to think that because I went to school. Listen, there are other folks that went to school and they don't have anything. There are other folks that went to school and they don't have a job. Don't you think that, how dare you have the unmitigated gall To think that because you got all of your ducks in a row and dotted every I and crossed every T, that things have worked out right in your life. You can plan that and then marry a fool and bring utter chaos into your life. Except it be for the grace of God. If God doesn't do something to temper something down in your spirit, say, God, I'm going through a test right now, and I know there's no talking while I'm in this test. You be still and know that I'm God. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth. God is saying, in the midst of everything that you're dealing with, I'm sitting there overseeing it. I see you with your head down. I know you're frustrated. I know you're scratching your head and wondering, how am I going to make it through this test? Because when something happens in your life and now you begin to question your own identity, who am I? Who am I? Am I what I did? Am I who I'm running with? God, who am I? Am I where I went to school? Am I the hometown that I came from? We've got so many questions. The devil is messing with our minds and whispering to us after you have such a hard time. And he says, listen, you struggle long enough. Aren't you tired of all of this? Don't you want a reprieve from all of this? And go ahead and throw yourself down. And you have to pass this presumption test. And he wants to bring you out and make you victorious and allow you to be able to stand where you don't mix presumption with real, genuine faith. Real faith will cause you to do some things that the natural mind will really question. But presumption is when you've jumped out and you've done something and then you said, God, I've done this now. You come on and bless it. Come on and bless it. And oftentimes, what you may sometimes think is your wilderness are really the consequences of your own decisions that you made and then ask God afterwards to come in and bless. And you think that you're in a wilderness and you're only living in consequence. But before God brings you into the place where he will trust you with authority, before he will trust you with influence, before he will trust you with resources, you got to pass some tests. Because God doesn't want you to get what he blesses you with and for you to become a fool. He doesn't want you to begin to think that it was because I was in the right place at the right time, because I've done everything right. I've dotted all of my I's and I've crossed all of my T's. You're a servant. I'm a servant. And God will bless your life to be a servant. If he's ever going to bring you into a place, God is going to say, you know what? I have faith in my servant Job. Put every test you got on him. I know his character. He's a righteous man. He won't get arrogant. Pull every test you can be. And God says, I won't say a word to him while you test him. And when he came out of that test, he passed with flying colors. Pass. And you know what the end result was? God gave him twice as what he had before. I declare to you, you are in a qualification zone right now. How you handle, how your attitude handles a little will determine whether God will bless you with much. You don't have to have a whole lot to be arrogant. I know folks that live in the ghetto who are arrogant, stuck up, think that they all that and a bag of chips. I'm telling you, they may not have anything, and they act like they are a queen diva. Got their cheap weave in and their cheap shoes on and walking like they are Miss Thing. You don't have to have really arrived in order to be possessed with arrogance. It's a deception. And I just want you to know today that your life is going to go through some tests. And if you'll learn to possess your vessel in love, in honor, in humility, and with godly character. Asking yourself, how did Jesus handle this? And I just want you to rest assured that every time that the devil brought a temptation to Jesus to question him and to test him, he didn't answer it out of modern philosophy and secular humanism. Jesus went back to the truth and the veracity of Scripture and said, "It is written. It is written. It is written." And when he finally shut the devil's mouth, he said, "It is said." And that means that God gave him this time, instead of him relying on the memory of what was written, God whispered a word in his ear and gave him a rhema. And in that moment of time, the devil could only say what was written, because God doesn't talk to the devil anymore. He spoke to Jesus, and Jesus said, "I heard that." And then Jesus articulated and repeated what the Holy Ghost said to him. He said, "It is said." And after he said that, when you get a rhema word from God, you will end that season of temptation. If you're in the midst of a temptation, and if you get a rhema from God saying, "Get out of there right now, leave him, leave her, walk out of this thing," it is destruction in it. Get out. When God puts it in you at that moment, he's just delivered you, and he must depart for a more opportune time. You won't get everything from this written Bible, because you may not have your written Bible with you. You better carry the Holy Ghost with you, because he will talk to you when you're in the worst tests of your life. He will talk to you, and he'll give you the victory strategy that you need to overcome the devil in every situation.
Thank you for watching Power for Living with Bishop Dale C. Bronner. Until next time, God bless you.